Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Dropping Down from the Rafters podcast here on Tonin Entertainment. Today, my guest is someone, man, I feel like I get to see you in action pretty much every week since I came up to Georgia in late October, early November and started covering these shows. And I can tell you, I don't care what the fans say, he's anything but mild. And that's Jimmy Wild joining me here on Tonin Entertainment. Jimmy, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Now I'm able to talk to you and see you. I mean, I see you pretty much almost every week from time to time, month to month now. And I love the Not Wild plug in there. Start off to a good start.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, seriously, I've seen enough of you in the ring to not get on your bad side. That's for sure.
That's right. Yeah. No one wants to be on my bad side. Trust me.
No. Well, I mean, I just met you a few months ago. And, dude, like, I've seen you, like, on Ring of Honor. I've seen you doing all kinds of stuff in the ring with like legends, Billy Gunn, QT Marshall, like guys that are at like the pinnacle in the wrestling business. First and foremost, okay, we're here in April of 2025. I lose track of the months, right?
Yeah.
So we're here in April of 2025. Kind of give us a little bit about the beginnings of Jimmy Wild as a professional wrestler and kind of like what sparked your interest to get into it in the first place.
So, I mean, like most, I guess, professional wrestlers, when you ask what got them into it, I mean, I watched it as a kid like everyone else. Kind of fell off of it a little bit going into high school just because I was so busy with school and other extracurricular activities like football, lacrosse. So I didn't really have time to go home and watch wrestling at that point. I was more focused on school and trying to figure out a college and athletics at the time. So I was playing football, got a scholarship to play football at LaGrange College, which is a D3 school. I was playing that. Then freshman year, 2019, COVID came, sent home. I was on the couch just doing schoolwork online, really. So did that in the morning, busted that all out, and then I was pretty much done for the rest of the day. And then wrestling was the only thing that was really live on TV every week. So I was just flipping through channels trying to find something interesting to watch because I watched pretty much everything else during COVID. So I stuck it on, I believe it was actually AEW Dynamite at the time. They're at the Daly's place in Jacksonville. I just popped in, started watching it. I was like, I'll see what's going on. I haven't watched this in a while. And then eventually I just said, I just got hooked again like a kid. I went back to school when they allowed us to go back in 2021, I believe, of the next semester. So I was a sophomore. Something about wrestling just stayed in my mind. I kept up with it for a little bit. I kind of was not getting tired of football, but the love for wanting to do it just kind of went away, and wrestling started rising up on my wanting to do list. So going into junior year, I said, I'll try it. I'll stick to it one more season. If I want to keep playing it, I'll play it. If not, I'm going try something different. So played that whole football season, decided don't really want to do this anymore. I kind of want to get into wrestling. So I went to a indie show here in Georgia. I saw like, guys wrestling and stuff. I said, some of these guys are older and out of shape. I'm a college athlete. I think I could do this. I looked up wrestling schools here in Georgia, found the Nightmare Factory, looked up what the cost was and how to get in. And I said, okay, I'm going to forego college and everything. Like I just dropped out completely, and then moved back home, got a job, raised up enough money to pay for the school, enlisted. And then here we are now 2 years later.
Wow, I've got a bunch of questions coming off of that. Right. First, I kind of want to go back to the football stuff and start a little there. Like, what position did you play as a football player?
So in college, I played safety.
Okay.
I can see. Guy. I like physicality. So
I was gonna say I can definitely see you as a safety because you're quick. You got the height for it, but yeah, you want to like lay somebody out at the same time.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, it definitely makes sense. Again, just to prove how much tougher you are, I was the kicker in high school. So again, you, in every single way, you're tougher than I will ever be.
You got a little bit a part of the team. You got a little pity there.
Right. Yeah, just a little bit, right?
Yeah. You're one of the guys.
Yeah, I was absolutely. Especially if you make the field goal, then you're definitely one of the guys. If you miss it, you're definitely not. You want to hide your head and get out of there.
Yeah, no.
you have one job: make the kick.
That's right.
That's it. Okay, so okay, you're going to college, you're doing football. Now you're going to drop out to pursue a career of professional wrestling. So, what's your family's thoughts, your friends' thoughts at this point?
So I already here's the bad thing. So I already made the decision I was going to drop out before I told my parents.
That's probably smart. I probably would have done the same thing too. It's already too late to go back, right?
So like they're already talking like, oh, you still have senior year to look forward to and stuff. In my head, I'm thinking this is my senior year. I'm done after this year. So I think it was like that last month of football. I told them, hey, I'm not coming back to this. So catch as many games as you can because this is it. Oh. And then I didn't flunk any classes or anything like that for rest of school. I did everything, make sure my grades were still good, just in case as a fallback. So if I wanted to transfer somewhere else locally or anything like that, go back to college, I still had decent grades for that. But yeah, I didn't tell them until I was pretty much made my mind up. And then my dad was very adamant on making sure that it was what I wanted to do. Because, I mean, I was going into it blind. No one else in my family's wrestled. They didn't know how to get into it or anything. This was something that I was just going to have to cast my line out for and hope it catches a fish or something like that.
Okay. Well, I definitely think you definitely caught a fish. Terry Bombs is here and she says, woohoo, you are great in the ring, Jimmy.
Of course I'm great. Who better than me?
Right? Like, are we debating this, right? Like, what's going on? Well, Jimmy, like, okay, so you choose the Nightmare Factory. Obviously, I mean, I don't know too much about all the schools in Georgia, but I have visited the Nightmare Factory. I've done some stuff with them. And obviously we know the trainers, the coaches there, like the best of the best, probably some of the best, if not the best of the best in the business today out there. So when you go in there, right, and you're training and I mean, I'm guessing your coaches were QT and Cody and Glacier. Is that correct? And Billy Gunn?
Yeah. It wasn't Billy. Billy came in after I already graduated and moved to the advanced classes.
Okay, so Billy came in after you graduated. Okay, but you had those guys before then.
Yeah, not Billy. QT, Cody, Luke Sampson, and Glacier were
and Luke Sampson, right? Okay, all fantastic guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So all different styles too. You have Glacier from the '90s WCW. He brought in something that the other guys couldn't bring. There's Cody and QT. QT's a mastermind in the ring as well as Cody. At the time, Cody was in WWE. QT was in AEW, so it's two different companies and their thoughts on wrestling. So it worked out perfect timing almost for me.
Okay, so what goes into your mind like when you go? Okay, you've college is gone. Football's gone. Like you're all in. No pun intended on going in and training to be a professional wrestler. What goes through your door when you walk through the Nightmare Factory the very first time?
Just do what I always do and try my best, put in as much effort as you can and just try to impress who you can and what you can, really. I was always told there's two things you can control in life, and that's your attitude and your effort. So you can't control anything else. You're not going to get a signed contract or a job or anything, but your attitude and effort could definitely help you.
Okay. Are there still some of the guys or gals that were in your class that are wrestling with you here locally?
Yeah. So Tommy Mars, Nikki 8, those were two guys that they were in my camp as well with me. We're Camp 7 of the Nightmare Factory. So we basically learned wrestling all together. I actually wrestled Tommy in the Camp 7 showcase. He was my opponent that showcase. Two completely different guys from now, but it's great seeing us all come up together and learn. And then a few other guys would be Alexander Lev. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's on NWA. He was a part of my camp as well. Those are like the three big guys that were part of my camp, really.
Okay, well, let's talk about Tommy Mars right now and Nikki 8. I mean, you guys were having a trio there for a little bit going on, the Superstars. Obviously, we know that, Nikki's out for a little bit now with an injury, and he will be back, hopefully stronger and better than ever. But you and Tommy just captured some tag team gold I saw recently.
That's right. 2, actually.
Okay, what are those two that you captured?
So we captured the Viral Pro Wrestling tag titles in a fatal four-way with three other great tag teams. And then Nikki and Tommy were both the GPW tag champions. And then we just made up some rules saying they'll just pass me the title and I'll be part of the tag champs there as well in Georgia Premier Wrestling.
Okay, the old Freebird rule, like you're all a faction.
Right.
It can be defended by anybody, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's us three. I was already part of the group, when this guy had to take a leave, so I'll just step in and fill his place for him.
Okay. Do you prefer wrestling singles or tag team wrestling?
With Tommy, definitely tag. Anybody else, forget about it. But I like singles just because I get the spotlight.
Okay. Okay, so being so if it's with the superstars, then it's
right.
You're all in. But like anybody else that they're pairing you up with is just kind of like they're riding your coattail. Then essentially.
Exactly. Really. I mean, I don't have the best winning record with other guys like I do with the superstars. I mean, I've won 2 titles now with them.
Okay, and so we want to keep piling up those victories, right?
Yeah. Why'd you bet on a different horse if you're winning with the same horse?
Dude, 100%. No, absolutely. Now, it's kind of crazy. So you said growing up, you were a wrestling fan. You kind of stopped in high school, which I think a lot of us do at one point. I was the same way, like my freshman and sophomore year, like pro wrestling just at the time wasn't for me. Like I wasn't interested in the product that was on TV. Was there anybody who kind of got you into watching pro wrestling in the beginning? And kind of like, I know you said you were busy at the time, which of course in high school we're all busy, we're all playing sports, we're all doing stuff. But was there like a specific reason? Like for me, like I stopped watching wrestling because it just got corny at one point. Like it was before the Attitude Era type deal.
Gotcha.
So it was kind of that time where it just like it's a bunch of cartoon characters running around. I'm not interested. Then all of a sudden Scott Hall shows up on WCW, and now I'm like, what's going on? What's happening? And then of course it's like night and day. Like my perception changes of professional wrestling. I'm back in the game again. So was there kind of like an off switch moment for you for that, or was it just the busyness of your schedule?
I think it's a combination of both. Like I was definitely busy. I probably could have found time to like maybe record it or something like that and go back and watch it. But I think it was the corniness at some point when guys that I grew up watching from early 2000s to like 2012, they started retiring or going away. So, and then I kind of lost interest in some guys like Triple H and Shawn Michaels, Undertaker. These guys started fading out a little bit. They started bringing in new guys. Just kind of lost interest in what I was always watching growing up. And then all these new guys come up. So I got to fall in love with them again. It just kind of drowned me out a little bit.
Okay. And it's kind of crazy because my story is a little similar to what brought me back into professional wrestling again when I took my second break for professional wrestling. Like in that probably like the same time that you did was going to an independent wrestling show. Like really just ignited. I tell people like Scott Steiner was on the card and being a WCW guy. I went, it was a Gangrel show at the time when he had a school. And I'm like, oh my God, like the independent wrestling scene is completely 180 from like what I went to it, previously. Cause like you said, it was a bunch of old guys and it wasn't very interesting. Like a lot of people went to kind of laugh at independent wrestling at the time. And now like, it's like the real deal. Like to me, I have more fun at the shows a lot of times than some of, what I can see on TV. It's like, I just have like a really great time watching these shows on the independent scene. So maybe for anybody that hasn't come out to an independent show, what are they missing that, Jimmy?
They're missing me, of course. What's better than that,
Right.
But I think you're missing the future of pro wrestling, to be honest, especially here in Georgia with what One Fall's doing, what QT and Scott have prepared and set up for just that promotion alone. There's a lot of big names, future big names, I should say, that are practicing and getting ready to shine now that you'll see a lot on TV here soon.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I came from Miami. So I was very versed in the Miami, the Orlando, the Tampa area. And when I started asking around, like I was like, oh yeah, moving to Georgia. Like a lot of people are like, nah, there's nothing going on in Georgia. There's nothing going on in Georgia. And I'm like, okay, like there's got to be something. And I remember just reaching out to Brady, and I'm like, Brady, I like you're wrestling for, at the time Turnbuckle. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, dude, you have to come out to the show, like definitely it's the place to be. And I was like, okay, cool. And I met QT through CCW down in Miami. And I remember coming, I'm like, okay. And then I start making my rounds kind of around Georgia, and I'm like, dude, like, I don't know if people are just talking smack that maybe their state is better than this state and we're the best and this and that, but Georgia's got it going on, dude.
Of course, yeah. What's better than Georgia, I would also say there's a lot of good fan interactions at the shows, too, that you won't get at bigger promotions, I would say. You're not going to – I mean, you'll see big names, obviously, like Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, QT. They're all – Billy Gunn, they're always going to be at one of our shows. But – you're not going to be able to walk up to them and talk to them after the shows or anything like you will be able to here in Georgia.
Yeah, it's also crazy, like the distance between shows sometimes. I mean, driving to even just the one fall shows, they're pretty separated, like, 45 minutes, an hour difference in the locations for Friday to Friday. And I'm literally seeing the same people show up to every single show. I mean, also with the locals to that area, but it's crazy, like, how the fans travel to the local shows on a Friday night to get there at 7:00.
That's right. I mean, they're hooked. I mean, what can you say? I mean, very rarely are you going to see a stacked card like One Fault has or TCW has. I mean, there's other, no, don't get me wrong. There's other promotions in Georgia that have stacked cards as well. But every week you're going to see someone that's been on TV or is on TV from week to week. And
right.
As well, like I said earlier, the fan interactions, whether you hate the guy and you want to chant mild at them, or it's Billy Gunn and you're chanting "Scissor me daddy ass."
You can only get that yes at these shows. Cherry Bomb says yes. Independent wrestling, it's my favorite. Let's talk about Billy Gunn. I mean, you kind of took him for a spin. I mean, there's a clip on your Instagram.
That's right.
I mean, to get into ring, I mean, I got to ring announce Billy Gunn, and I thought that was really cool. You got to wrestle Billy Gunn. I mean, that you're getting kind of like to be in the ring with some of the best talent that's walked the squared circle. I mean, that's got to be a thrill for you.
Yeah, of course. It's wild. I mean, no pun intended, but 2 years ago, if you told me I would be wrestling Jay Lethal or QT or even Billy Gunn on a local show here in Georgia, I would think you're crazy.
Yeah, and there you are making it happen, which is really cool. And you've done some stuff on Ring of Honor. So, when you go out, obviously, the shows, the local shows are a smaller crowd than an AEW or a Ring of Honor show. So when you go out there and you see the bigger crowds and the lights and the production, I mean, just give me a little bit about your feelings and your thoughts going into something like that.
I treat every show like it's the same, whether it's on TV or not. The crowd size doesn't make any difference to me. I'm going to treat it like every other show. I put in 100% effort. If there's 20 people in the crowd or 2,000, they're all going to see me in all my glory and going to treat the show like I treat my last name and Wild.
Dude, I love it. Can you, I mean, as someone inside the ring and, you're beating the crap out of, one another in there. Are you able to hear the crowd, the chants? Do you feed off the energy?
Of course. I think you've seen me a few times get a little upset when the mild chants start coming out.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not saying it makes me a little angry, but it definitely gets on my nerves. I feel like you have to read the crowd to have a great match sometimes. If you're just going through a match and you're just beating up the guy, I mean, that's fun too and all, but getting the crowd involved, having them either boo you or cheer you. I love the crowd when they are absolutely the angriest at me and they're cheering for the other guy, because it makes me feel like, oh yeah, I'm the guy on top. They're trying to get this guy to get back into it, but usually it's not going to happen.
And that happens very, very often in almost every match I see you in. The crowd is always giving you a lot of flack, that's for sure.
Too much, almost.
Okay. Well, they're not mild. The crowd's not mild. That's definitely the good thing.
Yeah, at least. I mean, in my mind, they all look pretty mild, but
That's fair.
what's wild compared to me, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, checkmate, right? Perfect. Now, it's funny, like when people like maybe catch up with me, like after 15 years or whatever, they find me on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever, and then they're looking, they're like, "Oh my God, I remember you always loved wrestling, and now like you're part of the show." Like, so what do people maybe from like your youthful days think about maybe what you're doing now?
Most of them are all supportive. They love it. They always usually they'll like see a photo that I post or something on my story or anything. They'll slide up. They'll ask me how's it going, what I'm getting into now, what I'm doing week to week, really where I'll be at. They're always interested in coming to a show just to see what I'm up to. They've all really been supportive. Never in 100 years did they think I'd get into wrestling. I mean, I didn't talk about it in high school or college at all, so it was kind of pretty much out of right field when I start posting on my Instagram and I'm in wrestling tights and stuff, trunks.
Like it's crazy. It's like a shock value of like, wait, well, what happened here? Like this was the
Yeah.
football guy.
I was the football guy, had short crew cut hair. Now I'm all of a sudden got long hair and I'm wrestling guys on TV, bigger names and stuff like that.
Man, the journey that life takes us, and it kind of like, I mean, I guess we have a little bit of like, you know, the pandemic to thank for it, because maybe if you weren't bored at home doing nothing, you don't turn on AEW, you know, maybe there is no Jimmy Wild in the world of professional wrestling right now.
Probably not. I'd probably be on a football team still, probably, but instead coaching or something like that. Maybe an athletic trainer.
Okay.
But I'm glad COVID came to steer me in a direction that I'm happy with at the moment.
Okay. Was there
enjoy every moment of it?
Okay. Was there like yeah, definitely. Was there like a particular match or superstar or a wrestler that you saw on AEW that kind of like hit that like reignition switch for you?
It was Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page when they were a tag team. So it was early AEW.
Right.
I mean, yeah, COVID AEW. So when they were, I believe they were tag champs at the time, and I was interested in both of them, and then interested in how they were going to keep the tag titles every week. So I started getting hooked again, and then catching myself watching it every week again.
Right, because that was such a cool story dynamic, because they were two kind of opposite people, even though they, you know, had familiarity with one another. Right. But like just the fact that they kind of did come together, it was like the odd tag team at the time. But yeah, it was like, is Hangman going to turn on Kenny? Is what's going to go on here? How can they keep it all together? And dude, I mean, they had some freaking incredible matches as well as a tag team. Mm-hmm. So not only were you kind of getting that, like, I mean, again, that was one of the things I love about professional wrestling was like, not only are you getting like these stellar matches with these two guys, but you're also invested in like their story from week to week to keep you tuning in. And definitely I can see how you got hooked right off of that, because that was like definitely one of the most awesome things about like early AEW was that storyline. One of my favorite things, at least.
Yeah, and definitely I think something that added fuel to the fire was like the first Stadium Stampede match with Jericho's Inner Circle, and just seeing it all come together, really.
Okay, so like the cinematic match you're talking about then.
Yes.
Okay.
The first one, the first Stadium Stampede with it was just the Elite and I believe Matt Hardy versus Jericho's Inner Circle.
I believe so too. Yeah, with Sammy and all those guys doing crazy stuff. Okay, so let's talk about cinematic matches, because that was one thing that was going on. I mean, AJ Styles and The Undertaker had one, and Sting and Darby had one against Ricky Starks. I believe it was Brian Cage at the time. There were a bunch of like, you know, it was kind of like, well, we have the opportunity to do these things. Would Jimmy Wild ever consider or like to participate in a cinematic match?
Yeah, I'm open to everything. I want to do everything in wrestling. I would like to see how a cinematic match is put together, because obviously there's other gears and running parts into it that rather than just like a normal match, you gotta more storytelling, I would say.
Yeah, you got to have a few more sort of surprises. I remember Gangrel showing up on like the Matt Hardy compound out of nowhere during one of the matches. And yeah, it seems like, I don't know if we've hit that like place where maybe the fans aren't interested in that kind of thing anymore, because I think it was kind of like, okay, well, it's COVID area. Like, we understand that they have to do some different things. And I thought they were like really cool and something really different. We haven't seen any, probably at least in AEW or WWE for 2 or 3 years now, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. I think the last one was probably either the AJ Styles Undertaker one or I think it was the AJ Styles Undertaker. I think that's one of the last ones, if not the one of Bray Wyatt and the Fiend's matches with John Cena, I believe.
Right. So yeah, we're a couple years away from cinematic matches. I think, I don't know, maybe we could see something on the independent scene one day. I know some guys who could produce some videos. I think it'd be pretty cool to see Jimmy Wild in a cinematic match. I think it's a lot of work. I feel like it's almost like a full day of filming. It's like a mini movie, like a music video almost, that you're trying to produce a 20-minute wrestling match. And the stuff like that Taker and AJ did was just phenomenal, literally. And like the Stampede match, I mean, with like 10 dudes in there in the stadium, is just out of control. So I think it might be time to reignite a little cinematic match here.
Yeah, I would like to do it at least. I mean, there's more stuff you can do in it than just like a normal wrestling match. I mean, you can wrestle 4 days out the week, every weekend if you wanted to, but the cinematic match, I believe there's gotta be some more storytelling to it and some wackiness to it that really hooks the viewer.
Okay. Do you have like maybe, I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but maybe like a scenario or an opponent or a group of people that you could see yourself in a cinematic match with?
Ooh, I mean, obviously the superstars. I mean, that's the group with me right now. An idea, maybe just a bar fight with the superstars. Maybe some random faces of TCW show up, or One Fall show up.
Okay.
Here and there, just a normal bar fight or something. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, the One Falls do take place in breweries, so we're just putting it out there. We're just putting it out there. We're not saying it's going to happen. We're just putting it out there, throwing the ideas, right?
It does happen. Jimmy Wild's name will be on the list for showing up in the match.
Okay, I like it.
I'll throw my name in the hat.
Okay, for the first cinematic match, we like it. Okay, now, you're here in 2025 from when you started. What would you say is maybe the biggest lesson you've learned about yourself on your journey?
Biggest lesson? I'm not as shy as I thought I was, I would say. Way more outgoing than I initially imagined I would be.
Okay, because you're a pretty chill dude.
Here now, yeah, until someone gets on my nerves, and I gotta flip a switch.
Okay. So were you kind of like, I mean, when I was in like middle school, I was actually very quiet. Like at one point, like, and my wife would hear that, she'd be like, "Yeah, right, sure." Like you talk to everybody nonstop, but like I was actually very timid and shy, and then like eventually I just kind of like broke out of my shell one day. So was that kind of like your process as well? Were you just a quiet kid, and then just kind of like, I don't know, sports and all that? I think that kind of brings it out of us, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, like I was vocal and stuff, talked to like teammates and stuff, but like in school and stuff, I didn't really talk to. I mean, I talked to people, but like kind of kept to myself. Didn't want to mess with anyone. And then I learned with wrestling, you can't do that if you want to be seen. So you just gotta be loud and be outgoing. I mean, I'm wrestling in basically like spandex underwear. So if you could do that, then I'd say you can just go ahead and do some wacky, wild stuff, if you will. In the world of wrestling. It's
crazy. Like I remember growing up, everybody's like, "Oh, it's just it's dudes in their underwear just wrestling in the thing." Is that like I don't know? Was that maybe the most challenging part? Just like the whole professional wrestling, just like, okay, I'm gonna go out and wrestle in front of 400 strangers in my underwear every week.
At first, yes. Now it's as easy as putting underwear on. Just putting 2 feet through the holes and going out there and doing it. I think the hardest part now is just keeping the crowd engaged and involved with the match.
Okay.
Getting them more like storytelling almost within the match, whether it be something's happening at the beginning and then how it unfolds near the end. It's just hooking them and wanting them to make sure they want to come back for another show.
Which you guys are doing a fantastic job of. I mean, every week I'm leaving these one fall shows and like, dude, I have a hard time winding down from the end of the night because, man, it just, whether it's the first match of the night or the middle match or the main event, like it's kind of like I leave on a little bit of a high at the end of the night. Like it's just the stuff that you guys and all the wrestlers, the girls all do at these shows, man. It's just, I mean, I know I'm being a little biased because I'm coming there and I'm working and stuff like that. But man, I just have so much fun going to these shows each and every week. And it's kind of crazy because it's like, it's the same core group of people every week, but the way that you're all able to put on these great matches and tell these stories like week after week to keep us all entertained, even us that are working there as well too, man. Much kudos.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of effort to make fans want to come back every show, especially when you run in a building once a month. But once you get them hooked and start caring for the show, it makes the product a whole lot better. And they start inviting their friends and family, and then we just get a larger crowd in there, which makes the shows 100% better. It's almost like crack.
But we wouldn't know anything about that, though.
No. Some of us.
Yeah. I like to use this one term, Jimmy. It's the term bizarro because the world of professional wrestling is such a bizarro place. So like whether it was like a crazy fan interaction or something that happened in the ring unexpectedly, do you have like a bizarro moment that you could share with us?
Bizarro moment. One time at a Mucha Lucha show, I mean, Mucha Lucha shows are always pretty wild. No pun intended. I didn't mean to do that.
Right.
But
it's in the name, Jimmy. It's all good.
Me and the superstars at the time, we were pushed into like a little corner of the barricade or whatever in the ring where the baby faces were coming out. And there was a lady with a little Mexican flag and she was waving it. And I just remember someone like poking me with the flag, stabbing me in the back, and I turn around and it's this old lady with a little Mexican flag. I said, "Don't hit me with the flag," and she starts hitting me with the flag. So, and then they throw tortillas at the ring. So that's probably the most bizarro thing that's happened to me in the ring, or one of them. That's a memory that I remember.
Wow, they're throwing tortillas out there. I'm out there with the sour cream and the black beans. Like, let's go, let's fill them up, bring it on. Yeah. Well, speaking of that, I mean, Cinco de Mayo is this week, and you've got at least 2 matches I know coming up this week.
I have 4 actually.
Oh, okay, okay. I know you got Tyler Shoop on Friday.
Yeah, Tyler Shoop on Friday, and then I'll be at 3 shows on Saturday. Between Winder, Sugar Hill, and I believe Lawrenceville.
So you're okay. So for those that don't know, One Fall Wrestling is running 4 free shows this Saturday, and I know you're on the list for Sugar Hill because I will be ring announcing this Saturday in Sugar Hill. So you're going to be going to 3 different venues that night to wrestle.
It's going to be a busy 2 days, 4 matches in 2 days, and then 3 on that Saturday. So a lot of wrestling and a lot of traveling.
Okay. Who do you have in those 3 matches this weekend, or do you know all of them yet?
I know one of them is Brady Booker.
Right. So okay.
That should be interesting. That's always a fun match. High energy. So high energy, high hitting. So that one should be fun. Great Cinco de Mayo match as well. Yeah. Fitting for Cinco de Mayo.
What's that spear feel like from Brady Booker?
I mean, to me, I played football, so I'm not worried about physicality or anything. It's just like a miniature small truck coming to hit you, really.
Okay, yeah, and that one is the one in Sugar Hill. The one that I will be ring announcing is you versus Brady Booker, and then you versus Shoop on Friday in Watkinsville.
That's right. I haven't wrestled Shoop before. I've recently met him probably at the beginning of this year. He's a guy that I've had on my list for a little bit that I've wanted to work and wrestle.
Yeah, he's got a lot of high energy. I know I did something which you all should be following, the One Fall Wrestling Instagram if you're not, but I did something with him and Brady Booker this week that will be going up. But those two guys, I mean, you got them back-to-back nights.
Yeah, they're both football guys too. What
Yes.
Shoot played at Penn State, and then Brady, I believe, played at South Dakota. So it's a lot of football background in the two matches I'm wrestling in. But I'm ready to train Hada and then take on the Brody as well.
Oh, I like that. I like that. And then the week after that is McDonough. I know that's going on. So is there any other shows that you have going on besides those 4 in one weekend and the McDonough after that?
Next week, I believe May 10th, I'll be at Coastal Empire Wrestling in Savannah, which is 2 shows in one day. I believe one's in the afternoon and one's at night. That's on a street in Savannah. You can see it on my story. I'll post the match poster there on my story.
Okay. And for those who haven't come out, maybe they're watching this and they haven't, maybe they don't live in Georgia and they haven't seen you wrestle. What can people expect when Jimmy Wild comes to their town?
A lot of trash talking to fans, a lot of charm and charismatic energy, and then high impact, high flying moves, I would say.
Okay. It's exactly what you get. You're not lying.
wet hair and a fur coat as well.
Absolutely. You got to have it's the fur coat, or maybe you're doing some rock and roll with the superstars if it's some tag team action, right? Okay.
One of the two.
Yeah. I like to do some sometimes at the end of the show. It's called like rapid fire questions. They're just fun little pop culture questions to maybe for us to get to know you a little bit better. So your favorite movie of all time, Jimmy?
Favorite movie? Tropic Thunder's definitely up there. I love Tropic Thunder. It's a great comedy. Maybe not the best for kids, but the kids can watch it on their own if they wanted to. I'm not going to blame them.
Right.
Another one that I watched not recently, within the year, would be Dune 2. I don't know if you've seen that. It's I love the cinematic photography of it and everything. And it's kind of got a story like Star Wars, except Star Wars is kind of like nerdy. Sorry if you like Star Wars, it's for nerds. Okay. But Dune 2, I like Dune 2 and the music and cinematography and everything of that as well.
Okay. Do you have a favorite album of all time?
Favorite album?
I know you kind of didn't grow up in the album era. Or maybe a favorite band of all time then?
My favorite artist at the moment is Post Malone. I'll say that.
Okay.
So maybe Stoney by Post Malone. That's one of my favorite probably.
Okay. A TV show that you could kind of binge watch over and over?
The easy one would be The Office, without a doubt, but I've seen that multiple times. So I kind of got drunk and bored of that. I'd say also Dexter. I love Dexter.
Dexter's actually a show that my wife and I are rewatching now, and The Office is kind of like our binge
Your
show.
Go-to?
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. It's put The Office on. We're also binging a lot of Married with Children now too, which is awesome. So Dexter is just such an awesome show. It was filmed down in Miami, kind of like when I was down there as well too, and it's kind of a cool show. It plays off a lot of stuff that Miami is known for. I mean, the ending of the show, the original ending was just awful, but I feel like they kind of made it up. I haven't watched I know they have like Dexter the Beginning or something like that now.
Yeah, they had a new spinoff or something like that. I haven't watched that at all yet.
Yeah, I haven't caught it. I think it's going on. I'm just going to wait for it all to be out, and then I'll just binge watch it because that's how I roll.
I'm the same way.
Right? It's like we don't got time to tune in week to week. That's just not how we watch TV anymore.
Yeah, just put it all out, and then I can just watch it when I'm traveling or in the car or something.
Yeah,
on the way to other shows.
It was like 10 years ago. That's how they were pumping it out, right? It was like, oh, here's the entire season of this. Cool. Like I'll sit down and watch it. Now they want to do 3 episodes this week, 2 episodes this week, 3. I'm like, oh,
and then they take a break like 2 weeks, and then they'll come back with like a finale or something. 2 finales at the end.
And I'm like, our attention span here in 2025 has gotten way too short to remember what happened.
And then I forget what happened the previous episode. So then I got to go back to the last episode and skim through it to figure out what was happening to go back to that episode.
Yeah, you're just wasting our time. Like, come on, just pump it all out. Let's watch it when we have time to do it. We're all busy people out here.
That's right.
Well, Jimmy, before I go, I did mention, that you wrestled Billy Gunn, you wrestled Jay Lethal, you wrestled QT. I'm sure there's some other, big names. Is there any, a couple maybe dream matches that you have out there that you would love to have?
I think the obvious one would be Cody Rhodes, just because besides him and QT and Billy and Luke Sampson, I've wrestled all three of them before. I'd love to wrestle Cody. Glacier, I've shared a ring with him, but I haven't got to wrestle him. He's kind of out of his prime now. So the iceberg's melting, but I would love to wrestle
Glacier.
him.
Yeah, okay. So Glacier and Cody Rhodes are definitely on your radar then.
Yeah, and then besides the two easy pick-me's from the Nightmare Factory between Cody Rhodes and Glacier, I'd probably say I'd love to get in the ring with Randy Orton and Seth Rollins right now, who's kind of on a hot streak at the moment.
Okay. Oh, dude, all high caliber people, that's for sure.
That's right, yeah.
Well, Jimmy, you're doing some great stuff, my man. It's great to see you in action each and every week. Not only do I get to, interact with you each and every week, but I'm also a fan as well, too. Love what you're doing in the work and in the ring, and definitely keep up that hard work, man. It's definitely paying off for sure.
Thank you, of course.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you would like to touch on before we let you go?
If you come to a show, just expect me to talk crap to you. I'll do that easily. And
we wouldn't want it any other way.
No, I don't know any other way.
You don't.
No.
But the thing is, you talk crap and you back it up in the ring as well.
Of course.
Well, Jimmy, where can people follow you at?
You can follow me on, I believe my Instagram and Twitter, I don't call it X, is at wildmanjones_. And then on Facebook, it's just Jimmy Wild.
Okay, perfect. Well, Jimmy, again, thank you for taking time out of your night. We always see each other, but man, people don't realize I get messages all the time. They're like, why aren't you interviewing this person and that person and this person and that person? Not so much the backstage interviews, but before I was doing the backstage interviews, I was doing the interviews at the show. And I'm like, there's no time at these shows anymore. We are busy people, both of us backstage. I did 10 interviews on Friday, which is just crazy. It's just a busy night between getting footage. So there's no time. So I'm going to start bringing on you guys onto the podcast so we can start getting to know you guys a little bit better. So again, thank you so much for your time, Jimmy.
No problem. I'm glad you chose me as one of the first to be on here. It's a big name to put on here first. I don't know how you're going to up it the next one, but I'm sure you'll find a way.
I guess that maybe I can announce it because next week I am not having any podcast, but the week after I've got the Warden scheduled for an interview. So you said we got to up it. We got to make it big, right? It doesn't get much bigger than the Warden. We have him confirmed for 2 weeks from today or 2 weeks from yesterday. Yeah, I can't remember the date off the top of my head. I think it's the 15th, but then Monday, 2 weeks from yesterday. So the Warden will be on the show. You said do it big, Jimmy. I'm doing it big with the Warden.
There you go. Just don't let him pick his nose on the show.
I can't control anything he does. He's picked his nose in the ring. He picks his nose in the interviews. I'm not going to tell that man what not to do. That's for sure.
That's why I've tagged with him a few times, just so I could be on his good side.
Very smart. Very smart. Well, Jimmy, you got 4 matches this week. Right? 4 matches this week alone that people can see you in. I will definitely see you at the one out there in Sugar Hill on Saturday. Friday is Watkinsville, and then 2 other ones. Follow One Fall Wrestling for all 4 of those free Cinco de Mayo shows this coming weekend. And guys, if you haven't already, please hit that red subscribe button so you can stay tuned in here to Tonin Entertainment for future videos.
Subscribe to the channel. Do it. Go now. Do it now.